Hello, and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Oh my gosh, it's crazy how many, not too many, but many Republicans are all of a sudden regretting, temporarily regretting, because part of me feels like once the current president hurts other people more, they're going to be like, okay, never mind. I'm going through pain right now, but I love that LGBTQ or black people or people of color are going through the pain. That's why I voted for him. So I can literally enjoy the pain and watching the pain that they are suffering through, especially a lot of white women that only heard if I'm talking about you. If you felt that, that means I'm talking about you. But if you know that you invited to the barbecue, if you know that you can sit on a stoop and talk to one of us for hours and everything like that, and spill the tea, the gossip, the patty, all that, all the tea, then hey, you know we're good. But anyway, it's like so far there are people who have lost their like governmental jobs, and all of a sudden, I, I didn't I didn't know about that. It was in Project 2025. Black women, especially, kept telling you guys about Project 2025. But so many of you guys, you don't listen to us. You won't listen to us. Because when you say woke, when you say DEI, you think of us. So whenever we open our mouths, you just say, oh, they're woke. Oh, they're DEI. I can't listen to what they say. Mm-hmm. Oh, and what up to the 92%? Hey, where my 92% at? Whoop, whoop. Anyway, okay. But it's really crazy how a lot of white women lost their jobs either because of the government or because of DEI. So many of them forgot that they are part of DEI because back, especially during the past wars, that's when a lot of them started being able to work. And then even when the government tried to get them back home to cook those nice hot meals and be ready for their husbands, black women helped them be able to have their rights to work and to have a bank account and to vote. But it's really crazy because even with the right to vote, white women tricked black, yeah, and I said trick too, yeah, white women tricked black women, yeah, help us, so let's support each other. As soon as they got that right to vote, screw you, I don't care about you, what I like, I got what I wanted, I got what I needed. And that's how a lot of Republican white women are. I repeat that, that's how a lot like 80 to 90% of Republican white women are. Yeah, let's support each other. Let's help each other. As soon as they get the morsel that they wanted, this like just kind of like Titanic. They will push us off that mirror so quick. They will let us freeze till no end. Because even with Black Lives Matter, they want to turn around to All Lives Matter, even though some of them know of the racism we face on the streets, but they don't care. Or kind of like Mrs. Masher, she was always like, well, he pulled you over because you're so pretty. Oh, mm, I hear racism. I hear racism. Because, like, if you already know that story, you already know what I said in return and why she got mad at me walking up those stairs with her cold alcoholic beverage and everything like that. But with Black Lives Matter, with Colin Kaepernick calling him out his name, then them trying to tear him down, and it was a peaceful protest, but that wasn't good enough. And then they said that he was putting down veterans, but he got the idea from a veteran. But then they had the nerve to say he was putting down. And it's just like, what about scaling the Capitol building? What about literally hurting, abusing, tasing, and like threatening our officers? because on top of all lives matter, they were blue lives matter. But and they were like follow the directions that the officer gives you. Follow the law. If you follow the law, then you have nothing to worry about. But then they break the law. But then like it's crazy. Either they're heroes and they're great and amazing during the good, like when they're trying to be positive and good about it. But then when they talk about the feces that was spread and all the foul, awful damage and everything, all of a sudden it was the woke, it was liberals, it was Democrats. Excuse-moi. Excuse me. Why would it? No, it's like, nah, mm-mm, mm-mm, don't you tell that lie. Don't you tell that lie. Anyway, anyway. It's just crazy how, even with the farmers, it's like a lot of people, a lot of racist bigots especially, it's like they, like, last year, like Fox News was saying, black farmers only got money because they're black. You know what? And that's the second time it happened. But you only said one half of the story. And that's like their entertainment for a reason, because instead of telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth, they, go through and like pick out just the little itty bitty parts that make them sound like great, and what makes the Democratic Party sound awful, dreadful, or unfair. Because I've said this last year, way back, how there was lawsuits, and this is the second time again, because black farmers were refused money for years and years and years. And again, the second time where the government was like, yeah, we were pretty racist to you guys. We were pretty unfair to you guys because a lot of the white farmers benefited and got certain things that you would not have been able to qualify for because of the history with like either segregation or like old money and just the land, the ownership years and things like that. So, yeah, you have to know the whole truth. But yeah, Fox News just kept saying, it's not fair. It's like, excuse me? Excuse me. But now the Caucasian farmers are upset because it's like they're probably going to get their money and they're going to be like, never mind, I'm going to vote for Trump next again. Even though he can't, but he's probably going to try to figure out a way to force it or make it, because again, remember, he has crowned himself to be a king. I'm not even going to finish that because that's so, yeah, okay, anyways, focus. Okay. But back to it, it's like a lot of like one farmer, he was like, yeah, you guys need to talk to me, but you can't do that, like F around and find out kind of stuff. Don't do that messaging, because that's gonna make me not want to listen to you. When you voted, that like you were telling us that you didn't like us, you didn't care about us, and you didn't care about our message, what we were trying to tell you, warn you about, and that like you didn't care that 2025 was going to happen. So if you can't take the heat, if you can't take the messaging, then you don't want to hear us, you don't want to listen, because all of the signs of racism, bigotry, and hatred from your side, literally tons of hate groups are supporting and like promoting this guy, but you're gonna vote like who. But it's just crazy because there's like two or three Caucasian male farmers who all of a sudden they're just like, help us, talk to us. You didn't listen to us before. You didn't listen to us before. And there is like I just kind of feel like they're trying to trick us again. Help us out. Just like with the movement for women's rights and to vote and everything. Help us out. And as soon as they get that morsel, as soon as they get that money, screw you, push us off. We don't care about you. I just needed your help. And you were stupid enough to do it. And that's one reason we are sitting this one out. And people keep saying, "You guys need to team up with us. You guys, you can't. You guys are hating on us, or you're not being inclusive." This country has not been inclusive. That's why we had DEI, and it still didn't work for me. It's like if you listen to my videos, I have had so many job interviews where I was judged because of how I walk and my skin color, and sometimes being a woman, especially when the boss unzips his pants. I'll tell those stories probably on Patreon or whatever. That way I don't need a warning because, yeah, my first video on YouTube, oh my God. Yeah. It was a dating nightmare episode, and the guy was literally telling me to eliminate myself because I wouldn't just jump up and sleep with him. Those screenshots are on Patreon too, so check that out. But anyway, there are a lot of like Caucasian women right now who are like, I lost my job. I did not know I was part of DEI. We have to team up and help each other. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. Especially after talking to Mr. No Heart's family members, Mrs. Masher, and I forgot all of the, like, I'll just call them the Mashers because I don't know all of their married names because I tried to make sure I forgot them as quickly as possible. But so many times, whenever I accomplished something, whenever I was working on something, even writing my children's books, oh, well, you're not like the others. You're not one of them. Well, you must have gotten this from one of your white friends. All of this told by these idiots. These racist, no good, bigoted idiots. And even with Black Lives Matter, you're racist because you're with them. You're racist because you team up with Black Lives Matter. No, excuse me? Excusez-moi. When I told you that a Flint police officer fondled me and you told me it's because I'm so pretty and that he just couldn't keep his hands off me because I'm beautiful, so I should take it as a compliment, but now you're trying to tell me I'm racist because I'm teaming up with Blue Lives Matter and I know and understand the mission that they are trying to accomplish, but that you have the nerve to try to call me a racist? Excuse me? It's like you tell me the only reason I got into college is because I'm black. You tell me for me to be able to write a children's book, and it's like even with the novel, my ex refused to tell. Like I hinted that I was going to start a novel, and everyone was like, "Oh, sure, you will." And then I found out later there. It's like after when I told him I was breaking up with him and I was in the process of doing it. And I was like, yeah, I finished my rough draft of my novel, but yeah, your brother refuses to read it. So it's like he's really showing how spiteful or jealous, or I found out it was really like ooh, jealousy real hard. You actually wrote it? Who helped you? He didn't help you? Why would he? My bachelor's is in English. No, I think I love reading. I love writing. No. But so yeah, it's like when it comes to the judgment, the hate, and everything like that, with all of these policies and all of the destruction of trying to maintain equality within our country, it's just crazy with how, especially Caucasian women, it's hitting them real hard right now because they were acting as if they were at the top of the pyramid when, especially as a and yeah, especially as Christian women, they forgot real quick. You're supposed to be submissive. You're supposed to follow everything your husband says, even if he's an absolute no good idiot. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, there's so many verses in that. So anyway, and it's like, I'm a Christian, but I'm not a brainwashed Christian. It's like there's a difference. But anyway, like, but it's really crazy how so many of the scriptures in the Bible, like, basically tell women that, yeah, it's like, even with the whole family tree, it's God, man, woman, children. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of men glorify on that. They love that. And so, and they forgot, like, so with some of them, I'm like, with my ex's mom, I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. You weren't, when you were born, you weren't allowed to have a bank account. You don't remember that? You don't remember that? When you were born, I think segregation was about to come to a close. I think it was right near the end, or maybe desegregation just started. But yeah, you're not that young. You're not. You remember those days. You remember those times, and so I don't know. It's just crazy with how, especially with the Caucasian women. It's like now they want to hear from us. Now some of them regret their vote. It's like, because even the forest rangers, so like a lot of them got fired, and some of them voted for the current president, or the orange guy, and they're just so shocked. It was in Project 2025. I read a good portion of it. I'm not gonna lie and say I read all of it, because whew, like, yeah, you like, the people who have been listening to my videos, you know what I've been working on. It's like I'm trying to be fully independent on my own with my disability and everything like that. So I've been on it. I've been working. I've been, like, going through it, like mental health and everything like that. But I read a good portion, and some of it is dangerous, some of it is crazy. And some people, when I say I now know, like, I was already debating on marriage before, and especially like after breaking up with Mr. No Heart, I think it's an absolute blessing that we never got married, because we were together for like 7 years. And then even with Mr. Lockakey, I was with him for 5. Like, I had to lie to Mr. Lockakey even, and tell him, okay, here's an envelope. If you save money in it for a wedding, it's like, then I'll marry you. No, I wasn't. And the funny thing is, every month he stole the money from the wallet to buy special candy. And it was good, like, it's like, because then I knew where he kept it. And he had like 3 or 4 hiding spots. And so sometimes it was just amusing when I'm putting up stuff and then I see the envelope and it's empty again. And then he comes into the house and he is out of it. And then the next day, no, I'm not back on. I'm not back on. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you guys already know, my my channel is as messy as my life, but it's like, it's just crazy to me, because like, oh, his grandma was a little bit of a bigot, but it's like, she quote unquote accepted me, but only because I was, well, he blackmailed me to date him, and she knew that like every day he called me, but he would basically say, "Are you my girlfriend? If you're not, you know what I'm gonna do to myself." That, like, literally, that's how we started our relationship. I wanted nothing to do with him, but he literally like, but yeah, go back tons of episodes. I spread it out, I explain it all, whatever. But anyway, it's just crazy with how, oh, and he's a white guy too. So that's why, yeah, I'm saying, because it's crazy how a lot of the Caucasian people I have met, either their family members throw out the N word, or they say some of the most racist things, or they try to categorize me, or they try to tell me I'm trying to act white, or they try to tell me that I have no business going to college, writing books, starting a business, or even with my certifications, or like being a chair in a nonprofit, or being a adjunct professor, like item after item after item after item. Like they, so many Caucasian people tell me that that is not my place and I am not supposed to be because I am black. And when it comes to voting, a lot of people show their true colors because, like, on top of like being black and having a disability, people showed me their true colors because they saw the orange guy mock the disabled. And it's like in books and everything, it's like he, like reporters and even construction people that he worked with, he refused to have Braille in the elevators at Trump Tower. He did. And they're like, no, by law you have to. But it's so ugly. And then was one of his grandkid or grandnephews, something like, it was a family member. I'm trying to remember which one it was offhand, but with one of the family members, like the son is severely disabled. And one time they needed the medication, they didn't have the money. They contacted him, and he was just like, "Yeah, why don't you just let him pass away?" Yeah. So when people tell me they're going to vote for him, they're voting against people with disabilities. And that gets me back to like with the videos that I have at the beginning. Like one talks about like how Republicans are like, we're too segmented. We're too, yeah, you know what? Because people with disabilities, we have to fight for different rights that you have no idea about unless you have a disability, especially a seen disability. I have met and I have even dated a couple guys on the spectrum, but then either they tell me how happy they are that they're not stuck like me, or they tell me I have no business in public. Yes, I talk about those in previous episodes too. But so it's like, so even when it comes to disability, there's different disability cultures and and demographics within that picture as well. And then when it comes to women, it's like the white women is segmented in a different way, but at the same time they're still women. But then sometimes they forget that they're women, even though they are Caucasian, they're still women. And so, like, a lot of Caucasian men don't want them to be the boss, they don't want them to be the leaders, they don't want them to work, they want them to stay home, cook dinner, wipe the baby's tushies and all that jazz. And then if you practice a different religion, they want to put Bibles in every classroom. They want to teach the Bible in every classroom, but they want to pretend it's from a literary history way, when no, they want to brainwash you. They want to brainwash you point blank and serious. They don't, no, like, come on now. It's like if you learn the history of how European, Caucasian teach history to either tribes or other countries, especially when you dig into even slavery and everything like that. It's like they're trying to, yeah, it's like, you know what? That's totally long conversation for its own episode series and everything. But I've watched documentaries and read books and everything about it, and it's just crazy. And it's just when people try to tell me, or when I hear, I've heard two people on Facebook tell me that they're kind of regretting their vote, but I'm just like, whatever, girl, bye. It's like you're gonna love him all over again next month, so I don't even care. And people are loving that English is the standard language. And part of me is like, okay, this is stolen land, so what, how are we going to like give credit for the Native American languages? I've talked about this in another video. I don't even know if that video's up yet. If not, it'll be up soon. But so many of the things that he is doing, he's whitewashing America on purpose. And a lot of the people that voted for him love it, want it, demand it. With DEI, like so many people were scared of DEI. So many people are like, oh, they're going to hire people just because it's like, no. DEI happened because so many companies, so many businesses were not hiring because you are black, because you're a woman, because you have a disability. I know because went through it. I live like I am literally the definition of what of who a lot of these companies don't want to hire. I I am literally like the person when I walk into the room for the interview, some of them probably are like, oh crap, oh God, or whatever. I'm no way. I'm not gonna hire her. Why in the world is her resume real? Because I mean I've had some companies accuse me of lying or faking my resume just because either of my skin color or because of how I walk. And it's revolting, it's degrading, it's awful. I've already told a story about me going to a job interview. And when I go up and say, oh, I'm here for the interview, and they say, oh, is it for the janitor or for the cleaning position? And then when I say no, it's for the marketing position, that receptionist was so shocked. She not only looked at me like a deer in headlights, but like the deer who got hit by a car. That's how she was looking at me. And then when the interviewer came out, there was a white woman in the waiting room. He went up and shook her hand and said my name wrong. And he was like, oh, it's lovely to meet you. I'm so happy. Let's go back. And she looking at him like he crazy. Like he was, but then people still, like, they want to vote and act like, oh, you're woke. Yes, I'm woke. I'm aware of the toxicity and the unfairness and the injustice. Yes, I'm woke and I see and hear the vile, awful stuff coming from the Republican Party. Democrats aren't perfect, but ooh, the Republican Party, ooh. If you've been listening to my episodes, if you follow my Patreon, I show all. I'm petty. It's like I'm stubborn and I'm petty. Very toxic combination. So when men try to call me out of my name, when they try to call me the B word, the N word, the P word, all of the other words, or telling me they can't wait to go back to Jim Crow, or even, oh, my ex, Mr. No Heart, when his ex-wife said, like, once the orange guy is in office, she can't wait to buy me so she can whip me until I die. So she can whip me until I die. Told that to her daughters. Told that to her daughters. But then you guys don't want to teach diversity, equity, inclusion in the classroom. But that because you want to be allowed to be the bullies. We have a young girl who ended up eliminating herself because of the bullies, because of the Republican Party allowed like these parents to go back to their kids so that these kids can go and torment this girl so that she would be scared of being alone. But I digress. Like, I'll have a part two because ooh, because you guys, this is the handicapable black woman. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too. So next time you hear these MAGA people say, but I don't get the Black Jeopardy or I don't get the Not Like Us song. Okay, just stop. Just tell them to be quiet, shut up, sit down, and mind their business.